Welcome to the Get Smart with Money podcast. I'm your host, Dana Hernandez, financial planner and author of Get Smart with Money. Break free from the struggle, build wealth on your terms, and rewrite your money story. Here we talk about money, entrepreneurship, growth, and resilience, because financial freedom is about more than just numbers. Each week, you'll get practical strategies, inspiring stories, and the motivation you need to stress less about money and create more freedom in your life. Let's get smart with money together. Hello and welcome back to the Get Smart with Money podcast. Today we are meeting Michael Uadiale. He is a CPA, an entrepreneur, and a tax strategist who has helped business owners preserve over $15 million in taxes through his DECIDE tax reduction framework. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. I'm happy we finally get to meet and talk.
Thank you for having me on your show also. So it's my pleasure to be here. I really do love to educate. It's the most important thing that we could do.
Yes. And honestly, it might be kind of nerdy for some people, but talking about taxes and business taxes, and I really like to learn about it. So I'm happy you're here.
I do my best to make it fun, to be honest. I think too many times people just have this phobia for what they think taxes is all about. But I really, my goal is always to take away that fear out of taxes. Okay. I promise you, I won't go into the complications of it.
And a lot of people, they hear the word taxes and they know that they have to pay taxes, but they're like, why do I need to pay less, or why do I need to learn more about how to pay less? Like, people go into business nowadays. I mean, this has probably been happening, but I've recently heard of a lot of business owners just going into business and they don't structure their LLC correctly. They don't have like a whole business structure, and then also they're commingling their personal money with their business money, and it's like, whoa, you can't do that. So do you have clients that actually come to you about that are doing
absolutely. That? I mean, I'll say that's a very common thing, unfortunately. And the reason for that, to be honest, is because even for professionals who are highly educated, I mean, I'm talking of, let's say, licensed professionals like doctors, dentists, whoever, engineers, whatever, right? You find that in many cases, a lot of these people went to school for the crafts that they trained to become experts in. But the one thing that I feel is really missing in our curriculum is financial literacy.
Yes.
I mean, you could be a dentist and someday you are going to want to open your practice, right?
Yeah.
But if you go through all of the curriculum of the dental school, nowhere are they teaching them about the business structure, what the taxes are going to be, and all that kind of stuff. So all of that thing just get completely cut off. And so when people then come out of whatever the level of education, and then they get in the real world, they find that there is a huge significant difference between practicing a profession or running a business and the business side of managing money and dealing with taxes and all that stuff. So it's very common. Most people just go into business clueless as to what entity type, clueless as to what their amount of taxes are likely to be until they get that first bill, and it's a big shock.
Yeah. Wow. I was really hoping it wasn't such a huge number of people that are doing that, but I mean, at the same time, you can't blame them because, like you said, we don't get that financial education.
Yeah. And I'm glad we live in a better age now, in a better age of information, of podcast and all the forms of informal education that's going on there. I mean, 10 years ago, it wasn't really like this, right? There's a whole lot you can get now from the internet, from AI and whatever. But yes, even with that, there's still a very high level of financial literacy that is lacking.
Yeah.
especially with taxes. And I consider taxes as one of the tripod of how to get wealthy. I know it sounds
Oh,
counterintuitive to people, right?
yeah.
Because
Yeah, I get it.
most people feel taxes just represent the government taking money from their pockets.
Uh-huh.
However, there's a flip side to that. Really, what the tax code is all about is it's a roadmap of incentives that the government has created for business owners. Okay, that incentivizes the business owners to behave the way the government wants.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what taxes are to me.
No, that is a very good description of what they are, because if you use them the right way, you don't have to pay a lot.
You don't pay a lot, exactly. And so I find that conservatively, 3 out of 5 of business owners that comes through our doors or meet with us wanting to become clients, 3 out of 5 of them have been overpaying taxes for anywhere from 5 to 7 years and above. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. And many times, I know it's a very painful number to show to them. We do show them what they've been overpaying over the years. You find that the amount becomes significant, and there's nothing
Hmm.
like cash. Cash flow is king. If you can retain a whole lot more of your money and not have to give it to the government. And the sad or the painful part is the government is not asking you for it. Right. So it just becomes a tipping or a donation to the government that the government has not requested because there's just a whole lot of misalignment structurally within the tax system between
Mm.
people who are the tax filers. A lot of people in the profession who really are not doing service to the entrepreneurs. What I mean by that is most people just have a once a year relationship, right, with a
Right.
tax preparer. If any of your listeners is out there and listening to me at this point, I would be saying if that's their playbook of just having a love-hate relationship with taxes and only waiting to the end of the year before going to speak to a tax preparer, you playing a losing game, okay?
Right.
Because you are not taking advantage of the tax code. Any good CPA or any good tax advisor cannot do much for you after the game is over.
Right.
So think about it. People just bundle all the shoebox of receipts and go show up to somebody and say, here are all my documents, file my taxes, right? I mean, apart from, like you said, being able to legally, ethically, and morally reduce your taxes,
Hmm.
there are times where there are credits, tax credits that are available that could be applicable to a business owner, which literally means is the government giving you money back because there are refundable tax credits. But where you are doing a once a year meet with some guy who is preparing your taxes, you losing all those benefits and advantages. And so you just
Hmm.
paying taxes and you're thinking it's just normal cost of doing business. No, it's not.
Right. Yeah, it's a work in progress
Yeah.
all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah. And a lot of business owners don't get any advice or any counsel either on how to even structure what they're starting, and it's just, they just do it by themselves. Maybe LegalZoom. Oh man, I've tried LegalZoom before. Oh, that was terrible. They just don't answer the phone. Like,
I don't want to sound cynical. I think what's going on is people are getting what they pay for, but they are not
yes.
measuring the value of what they
Hmm.
get. So when people are making decisions on who should be their service provider, as an example, if how they make that decision is driven by how much somebody is charging, then that's not the kind of client to work with. I say that respectfully. You just gave a good example. Legal Zoom is just a document preparation and filing service, right?
Yeah.
somebody could go to LegalZoom and just form an LLC, but what do you get from LegalZoom? They send you the certificate of formation, they send you an AIN number if it's part of what you paid for, and they're gone, right?
Yeah.
But that's just a piece of paper because in the real sense of it, okay, you are going to find that what makes that LLC that you formed goes beyond that formation. It's the operating agreement that makes it what it is supposed to be. And
Yeah.
LegalZoom is not giving you the operating agreement, all right? So entity structures, for example, it's a very important thing. I mean, before coming on this show today, I just finished a 90 meeting with a client and his attorney. And what were we going through in that 90 minutes? We were going through all of his entities, making decisions on which of them to retain, which one to close, which of them to repurpose, and all that kind of stuff to fit where he's going. So
Okay.
when I look at entity structure is really the foundation. It's almost like
Yes.
you're not going to be building a house and you plan on building a 10-story building and you put a shabby foundation that cannot even keep a one floor, right? But that's
Yeah.
what many people are doing with businesses. They feel like, oh, their Uncle Joe or their Auntie Jane set up an LLC when she was to start her business. So the natural thing to do is to go to LegalZoom and just set up one. But well, your kind of business may be different. You may be living in a different state, and every
Hmm.
state has different levels of protection. All right. So there's just a whole lot that goes into making a decision on something that people think is so foundational as entity structures.
Yes, I was going to ask you what common mistakes do entrepreneurs make when choosing a business entity?
The
Um,
mistakes are many.
yeah.
One, they don't look at the state of residence. Many of them don't really analyze the risk profile of the kind of business they're going to do
Hmm.
as to ensure that the entity setup they do is sufficient to protect their personal assets from the risk associated with their business and vice versa. Okay, so those are some of the major mistakes. And then, of course, taxes, because how your business is set up fundamentally impacts the amount of taxes. When it comes to taxes, all income are not equal. I mean, you could make 50,000, I make 50,000, both of us have $50,000 in the bank. We could suffer different amount of taxes, completely different because of how the 50,000 was made.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
it's really very important for people to
Yeah.
take it more seriously.
Yes, definitely. Um, so in what ways can somebody be proactive with their tax planning and improve their cash flow?
That's easy. So I always say when it comes to tax planning, you got to first of all find a good tax advisor who knows your line of business.
Hmm. Okay.
I was on a show yesterday and the podcaster was asking me, why do I need a specialist CPA? And I said, does a general practitioner in medicine do a brain surgery? And the answer is no, right? Because the person who is now a brain surgeon has elevated their game and become more specialized, right,
Hmm.
in everything to do with the brain. And
Right.
same with many professions. It's not different. And most times clients don't seems to care about that, right? You got to look at your line of business and find a tax advisor who has decided to spend more time to really understand, know that line of business so they can be able to match the operational activities of those business to what the tax code says and be able to bring value to the business owner. So that's a very big part of it. And of course, we already talked about taxes. Taxes is king in the sense that if you are not doing tax planning, you literally are putting yourself into a financial jailhouse for at least 18 years. So let's break it down to
Yeah.
numbers. For most people who are not doing tax planning, they are at a very high tax bracket. So
Hmm.
if, for example, somebody, and let's talk federal taxes, let's say somebody is in the 37% marginal tax rate, okay, at the federal level. What does that mean? That means literally for every 8 hours of work that the person is working, 2 hours, literally 3 hours of that 8 hours is being given, right, to the
Hmm.
tax guy. Multiply that by, say, 30 years of a work life and see what that translates into.
A lot.
So it's a lot. So most people don't get to their financial freedom goals on time because taxes is a drag.
Hmm.
It's one thing to make money. And that's why when I do my webinars, I say income can be earned, but wealth is engineered because what the super wealthy have been able to master, they don't take their tax bill on the surface. Everything, all the decisions they make proactively, ever before they make those decisions, they're talking with their tax advisors, okay?
Yeah.
So that that transaction is optimized and structured in the way to maximize the tax benefit. So most people don't do that. And when they don't do that, it directly impacts your cash flow. I mean,
Hmm.
what's the point making $1 million and 470,000 of that 1 million goes to the tax guy, right? And you are ending up with only 530. Okay. Another person makes 1 million, maybe he pays 100,000. You see the difference? Now
Hmm.
compound that gap over the next 10 years and see who is going to get to their financial freedom goals first.
Right. Yeah, you always have to be proactive about like everything in your life, but especially how to retire and what to do with your taxes, because why would you want to pay taxes? That's your money, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. So I think
Yeah.
the level of education, and I appreciate those of you who are doing all you can to give people that level of education to do that.
Hmm. Yeah, it's super important and it just doesn't get talked about enough. And especially like most people work, have a W-2 job. So what do you tell people how to fill that I-9 out?
How to fill out the W-9?
Yeah, yeah, the
Oh,
W-9.
no, where they will be filling the W-9 if they are an independent contractor, right?
That's a
So
1099,
yeah,
right?
so if you are a 1099, then you are supposed to be giving a W-9 form to the person who is paying you. Now, if you are a W-2, meaning you earning a salary,
Hmm.
right? Then there is the forgotten the name of the form that your employer gives to you to fill. Now, all that the employer is doing with that form is that determines how much withholding they will be making out of your paycheck every 2 weeks or whenever you are getting paid.
Yeah.
That's all that the employer is doing with that. Um, Unfortunately, I say this, I wish I could say it in a different way. The tax code is not really set up of design for the W-2 wage earner. Unfortunately, I mean,
Yeah.
I know it
It's
sounds a
true.
little bit harsh, but that's just it because there aren't too many opportunities for the, the W-2 wage earner to plan for taxes. It's
Mhm.
almost like it is what it is. You are in a straight jacket, you got to stay here. But for the business owner, who is a business owner, they have a plethora of opportunities to plan for taxes. And it's so important that business owners need to do that. And that's why when people come to me and they are very serious about their financial goals, the first thing I'm going to be saying to you, if you are a W-2 wage earner, is look, you got to have a business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't start a business because of taxes, but know that having a business really significantly impacts your taxes for your benefit.
And for your retirement, your future.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's crazy how a lot of people don't think that far ahead. like I'm just going to be this age and feel this great forever. Like it's like no, it's actually not going to be like that.
It happened to everybody. I mean, you could think back to a couple of years ago and you find that, yeah, most times, most people don't even think they're going to get old someday, or you're going to get to the point where you don't have all that energy. So you need to
Yeah.
save, right? Or you need to put
Yeah.
money away for your retirement. But the great thing is, especially for the business owners, again, they have lots of opportunity to put money into all kinds of retirement package, right? So something as complex but more beneficial as a defined benefit plan. Okay, starting from
Hmm.
a basic solo 401k, regular 401k, Roth 401k, a SEP IRA into a defined benefit plan. All of
Oh,
these are
I
very
see.
different programs that most
Hmm.
people need to learn to take advantage of.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they do. And it's just, I think it's like up to us really to just reach as many people as we can because a lot of people don't know where to go for these types of advice, and then and it's hard to go out and talk to people. Like how did you start getting your clientele? Did you start going out and talking to people by yourself or like how did that happen?
Oh yeah, wait, it was a long time ago, but yes, the answer is yes. I
Hmm.
went out there, right? I literally went to different businesses. At the beginning, that was what I did. Sometimes my wife and I we joke and we laugh about that now, right? But we did. We really did.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you have to do and
Yeah.
it's hard, but
And it's hard, yeah. It's like
yeah.
really pounding this pavement. There's
Hmm.
no glamour to it, right?
Right.
I could tell you a whole lot of war stories of the earlier years, no, but um, one of the things I've come to find in life is that money follows value. If you really
Hmm.
bring value to people, it's only a matter of time. There is a compounding effect of the value that you have accumulated over people's lives, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
It's like there needs to be a condensation of a lot of clouds for the rain to fall.
Yep.
Okay. By the time you give goods value to somebody, you give good value to another person, and you give good value to 4 or 5 people, it's very likely one of those five is going to refer you to one person, and one of the that person. So that multiplier effect just happens. I mean, today as a practice, we are virtual. We still have two brick and mortar office locations,
Hmm.
but of our staff of about 21 or 22, I think there are only 3 people that really go to our office locations daily.
Hmm.
All the rest work from home. And because
Nice.
our clients are done nationwide, okay,
Hmm.
they come to us now not because we are in their backyard. They come to us because, okay, somebody have said you should be working with these guys because they can help you do something, meaning help you reduce your taxes legally, ethically, and morally. Okay. Because it's
Hmm.
important. It's wanting to reduce taxes, but you want to be in a place where if your tax return is being audited, you can defend those returns and not have to have any sleepless nights.
Yeah. Hmm. All right. Yeah, it's still in that stage for me too, where I am needing to go out and find people too. So I'm really happy to be able to talk to you today to kind of, you know,
Yeah.
know that other
So,
people did it too.
I mean, when I take somebody like you should be doing public educational series. I don't know if you do that, right? Because you already do what you do. You are not
Yeah.
afraid of the camera.
Yeah, no, for the most part, but it's still kind of foreign and weird, but
How
I'm
is that?
just not that used to it. But I was gonna say though that I may have a partnership happening soon with a nonprofit here in Reno.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna say who it is yet, just because it's not a thing yet. But I met someone that was involved the other day, and they said they had been looking for somebody to do financial education. I was like, me. I was
Yeah.
like, yes.
Right. So that's a great. So that was what I was talking about, money following value. So I'll tell
Mm-hmm.
you one thing. Yes, our company has been in existence now for 19 years, right? But I still do monthly webinars.
Mm, yeah.
I do monthly webinars every third Wednesday of each month,
Okay.
5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I let whosoever get on that Zoom call. Okay. I am always watching the trends, checking for okay, what's trending now in terms of taxes? What is a lot of people seeking to know something about? And
Mm-hmm.
then I just talk about it for like 40, 45 minutes, and I let the audience ask me questions. Okay. It takes my time. It could take me like 2 hours, 3 hours to prepare and 1 hour to deliver that. So think
Mm-hmm.
about it. It's a 4 hour service I'm giving every month and nobody's paying me for that. But guess what? I can tell you lots of people have come to me. Sometimes they were never even on that Zoom call or they were not on the webinar. Somebody who was on it got the recording, sent it to them and say, hey, you need to check this out and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
just doing public education. I mean, I used to do a lot of, I used to give educational services to chambers of commerce, right? I used to
Yeah.
write in a city newspaper once a month. All of those were educational services. But what was it doing? It was creating for me way back then a brand that
Yeah.
we've been able to then build on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Understood.
I
Yes.
mean, to be able to do what you're doing, I don't see why you will be nervous having an educational seminar.
I guess you're right.
You know,
Yeah.
I know I'm right. You just need to get
Yeah.
up and do it, okay?
Yeah. Yes. I do need to prepare and then figure out how I would like get the word out or something on how I'm gonna have a webinar, you
Oh
know?
no, I just even feel it takes more time to prepare for a podcast than to prepare for a webinar, right? Because you do a lot of back
Yeah.
end production after you record a podcast, okay?
Mm-hmm. I
Webinar,
do.
you prepare your materials as long as you know what you're talking about, you get on it. Okay. In
True.
fact, I will be doing two presentations tomorrow. I'm doing a presentation to a group of nurses who have either just started business or are getting ready to start business in the area of IV therapy, med spa, and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm doing that in the morning, and in the evening, I'm doing our regular webinar because tomorrow is third Wednesday of the month.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's awesome. I've been thinking a lot about doing that. I still work a full-time job at this point too, so
Mhm.
that also really gets in the way. So
Yeah, no, but it's also about commitment, right?
yeah.
You could do your webinar on a Saturday. I mean, you only need to do it once a month, right?
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Once Saturday in a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, take 2 hours
Yeah.
to prepare for it.
Yeah, exactly. No, that gave me a really good idea, actually.
Yep,
So thank you. Thank
my pleasure.
you. Please like, review, share, and subscribe to this podcast and follow us on Instagram at GetSmartWMoney Podcast, as well as checking out our website at GetSmartWithMoneyPodcast.com.